Two garages sit on the same quiet suburban street, same neighborhood, same square footage, same property taxes. From the outside, both houses look identical, but open the first garage door, and you see a very different story. Inside sits a $82,000 Tesla Model X, still smelling like new leather. Next to it is a $4,000 Peloton bike, mounted in front of a wall-sized mirror. A $3,500 carbon fiber road bike hangs from the ceiling rack, tires still perfectly clean. A $2,800 home gym machine stands folded in the corner, beside stacks of unopened Amazon boxes. It looks impressive. Visitors walk in and immediately assume the owner is doing extremely well. But inside the house, the numbers tell a different story. The mortgage consumes 42% of the household income. The credit cards carry a balance of $31,000 at nearly 24% interest. And the retirement account holds less than $40,000 after 10 years of work. The garage performs wealth, but the balance sheet tells the truth. Now walk across the street. The second garage is quieter. Inside sits a 2016 Toyota Camry with 110,000 miles on the odometer. A faded $200 used bicycle leans against a tool rack. Next to it sits a lawn mower and a plastic bin filled with old extension cords. Nothing here signals success. Most people would assume the owner is doing average at best, but open their brokerage account and you see something else entirely. A portfolio of low-cost index funds worth $1.8 million. No luxury car, no designer signals, just 3 decades of quiet investing that nobody noticed. 2 garages, 2 completely different financial lives. One person bought things that looked like wealth, the other bought time. Most people are trained to measure wealth using the wrong signals. Cars, houses, vacations, the visible symbols of consumption. But those signals don't measure wealth. They measure spending. A luxury SUV parked in the driveway tells you nothing about the owner's financial stability. That vehicle might be financed over 84 months, with a payment larger than their investment contributions. A kitchen renovation with marble countertops and brass fixtures might have been funded by a home equity loan. The photos from a European vacation might be sitting on a credit card, charging 24% interest. What you're seeing is not wealth. You're seeing financial performance. And in the United States, financial performance has become a social expectation. Social media algorithms reward displays of consumption. Luxury purchases receive attention. Debt does not. Stress does not. The quiet math of compounding investments certainly does not. So millions of people unconsciously enter the same trap. They trade actual financial security for the appearance of success. And the tragedy is subtle, because every dollar spent performing wealth is a dollar that never enters the compounding machine. And compounding is the one force in finance that turns ordinary income into extraordinary outcomes, which leads to a paradox most people never realize. The people who look the richest often have the least wealth, and the people building the most wealth usually look completely ordinary. Looking rich is expensive, much more expensive than most people realize, because every purchase that signals success carries a hidden second cost. Not just the price of the object, but the future wealth that money could have created instead. A $70,000 luxury SUV is not just a car. It is also the investment portfolio that never existed. A $120,000 kitchen renovation is not just marble countertops and brass fixtures. It is also the decades of compounding those dollars we'll never experience. This is the hidden economic law behind lifestyle creep. Every upgrade that makes life look more successful quietly reduces the probability of becoming financially independent. And the damage rarely appears immediately. It accumulates slowly. Status purchases remove money from the only system capable of building real wealth: the compounding system. Once a dollar leaves that system and enters consumption, its growth potential disappears permanently, which means the true cost of a purchase is never the receipt price. The true cost is the future value of the money you spent. Most people never calculate that number, but the people who quietly build wealth calculate it constantly. They understand a principle that almost sounds boring when you hear it, but becomes powerful when you live by it. Wealth grows fastest when your lifestyle remains ordinary, because ordinary lifestyles leave extraordinary amounts of money available for compounding. And compounding does not care about appearances. It only cares about time. Start with the most common status purchase in America: the car. Walk through almost any suburban parking lot, and you will see rows of luxury SUVs. Vehicles priced between $60,000 and $90,000. What most buyers don't think about is how fast those vehicles lose value. A $70,000 luxury SUV typically loses 30 to 40% of its value in the first 3 years. 10 years later, it may be worth $10,000 or less. Now run the alternative calculation. Take that same $70,000 and place it into a simple S&P 500 index fund, earning a historical average return of roughly 10% per year. After 10 years, $70,000 becomes about $181,000. After 20 years, that same money becomes roughly $470,000. One purchase decision quietly determines whether that money becomes a depreciating vehicle, or nearly $500,000. Now apply the same logic to housing. Many Americans stretch their finances to purchase the largest home the bank will approve. A 3,800 square foot suburban house valued at $1.4 million might carry property taxes of roughly $22,000 per year. A modest 2,200 square foot home, valued around $650,000, may carry property taxes closer to $9,000 per year. The difference, about $13,000 every year. Over 30 years, that difference alone becomes $390,000. And that calculation ignores the larger mortgage payments, higher insurance, more furniture, and higher maintenance costs that larger homes require. The expensive house doesn't just cost more once, it costs more every single year. Now consider the quiet power of retirement accounts. A person who invests $600 per month into a retirement account, earning 7% annually starting at age 25, will accumulate roughly $1.4 million by age 65. Start that same habit at age 40 instead, and the result drops to about $480,000. 15 years of delay erased nearly $1 million of future wealth. This is the math most people never see because it happens slowly, quietly, and usually outside the frame of everyday conversation. But these invisible calculations determine almost every long-term financial outcome, and they reveal something uncomfortable. The real cost of looking wealthy is rarely paid today. It is paid 20 years later, in the form of a future that never materialized. If you want wealth that grows quietly, follow simple rules. Rule 1, stop performing wealth. No one gets rich impressing strangers in parking lots. Rule 2, drive depreciating assets. Invest appreciating ones. A $30,000 Honda Accord can take you to the same office as a $90,000 luxury SUV. One leaves money to invest, the other removes it. Rule 3, buy houses for stability, not status. Banks approve homes designed to keep you working. Financial independence requires living below that limit. Rule 4, maximize invisible money containers. 401k, IRA, HSA. Money grows fastest when no one sees it. Rule 5, track net worth, not income. Income is what flows through your hands. Net worth is what stays. Rule 6, avoid wealth signals, designer belts, luxury watches, prestige car keys on the restaurant table. These items attract expectations. Rule 7, automate investing. Money invested automatically never passes through the temptation of spending. Rule 8, maintain a financial buffer. 3 to 6 months of expenses, enough to prevent panic decisions. Rule 9, invest boring. Low-cost index funds outperform most investors trying to be clever. Rule 10, protect financial privacy. Your salary, your investments, your net worth. Keep them private. Wealth grows best when it attracts no attention. Consider a common purchase. The Peloton bike sitting in many American garages. Price, about $4,000. Most owners use it fewer than 50 times. Cost per ride, $80. Now consider a luxury watch. Price, $9,000. Invest that same $9,000 into an index fund, earning 10% annually. After 20 years, about $60,000. The watch tells time. The investment buys freedom. Or look at kitchen renovations. A $120,000 remodel with marble counters and custom cabinets. Real estate data shows most renovations recover only 50–60% of their cost in home value, which means roughly $60,000 disappears the moment the work is finished. The contractor gets paid, the homeowner gets applause, but the compounding potential of that money is gone forever. Most spending decisions are not mathematical. They are psychological. The brain constantly compares. You see the neighbor's new $80,000 SUV. You see a coworker posting photos from Santorini and Positano. You see someone wearing a $12,000 Rolex across the conference table. Your brain interprets those images as normal life. Behavioral researchers call this money dysmorphia. People feel financially behind even when they are objectively stable. And that perception changes behavior. Savings slow down. Credit card balances rise. lifestyle quietly expands. Debt also creates a second psychological effect. Stress. Financial pressure keeps the brain in a constant low-level alert state. Higher cortisol levels, poor sleep, more impulsive decisions. Ironically, the purchases meant to signal success often create the anxiety people were trying to escape. Then there is decision fatigue. Budgeting requires discipline every single month. Every paycheck creates another choice: save or spend, invest or upgrade. By the end of a long workday, the brain has already made dozens of decisions. The easiest choice becomes consumption. This is why people who rely on willpower often fail financially, not because they are irresponsible, because willpower is a limited resource. Systems work better than discipline. Automation works better than motivation. And the people who quietly build wealth understand this. They remove the decision entirely. The process of building stealth wealth does not require dramatic change. It requires quiet systems. Start with a simple sequence. Week 1, calculate your net worth. List every asset: checking accounts, savings accounts, 401k balances, brokerage accounts, home equity. Then subtract every liability: mortgage balance, car loans, credit cards. That number is your starting point. Month 1, automate investing. Set contributions to leave your paycheck before you ever see the money. 401k contributions. Automatic transfers to a Roth IRA, monthly deposits into a brokerage account. You cannot spend money that never reaches your checking account. Month 3, build an emergency buffer. Target 3 to 6 months of essential expenses: housing, food, insurance, utilities. This buffer removes financial panic. Decisions become calmer, more rational. Year 1, maximize retirement contributions. Most Americans dramatically underestimate how powerful tax-advantaged accounts are. Money invested early compounds for decades. Year 5, the system begins to work on its own. Investments grow. Income rises. Lifestyle remains stable. And the gap between what you earn and what you need begins to widen. Inside that gap lives something extremely valuable: freedom. Most financial lives follow one of two cycles. The first is the destructive cycle. It begins with comparison. Someone buys a $70,000 luxury SUV. Someone renovates their kitchen with $120,000 marble countertops. Someone posts photos from a $6,000 vacation in Italy. The brain interprets those signals as the standard, so spending rises. Income increases slightly, but lifestyle increases faster. Mortgage payments expand, car payments appear, credit cards fill the gaps. Saving becomes something that happens later. Years pass, income looks impressive, but the balance sheet stays fragile. This is the cycle of lifestyle creep. Consumption expands to match income. Wealth never accumulates. The second cycle works differently. It begins with restraint. A person drives a 10-year-old Toyota Camry instead of upgrading. They live in a 2,200 square foot house instead of stretching for a 4,000 square foot one. The difference in spending flows into investments, month after month, year after year. At first, the progress feels slow, but compounding eventually changes the trajectory. Investment income begins to appear. Financial pressure decreases. Choices expand. The gap between income and lifestyle widens. And inside that gap, wealth quietly forms. Two cycles. One produces impressive lifestyles with fragile finances. The other produces ordinary lifestyles with extraordinary balance sheets. Most people think wealth is visible: a large house, a luxury car, expensive vacations. But those things are signals of spending, not wealth. Real wealth rarely announces itself. You see it in choices: the ability to leave a job that damages your health, the ability to take time off when a parent becomes ill, the ability to move across the country for an opportunity, or simply the ability to wake up on a Monday morning and know that work is optional. Those choices come from something simple: margin, the distance between what your life requires and what your resources can support. Stealth wealth protects that margin. It avoids the expensive signals that destroy it. It invests quietly. It compounds patiently, and over time, something interesting happens. While others continue performing their lifestyles for social approval, you accumulate something far more valuable: control over your time, freedom from constant financial pressure, and the quiet confidence that your future does not depend on impressing anyone. Because in the end, wealth is not the size of your house or the logo on your car. Wealth is the number of choices available to you, optionality, and the people who build it best are usually the ones nobody notices.